Hello there. We are on day 5 on what does it take to build a new business. We have spoken about how the ecosystem needs to be mapped right. You should know what problem you're solving in context of what and in which part of the world. And does the ecosystem benefit? Is it ready to acknowledge the difference that you are going to create? Or is it a little far-fetched idea or an idea that has been over-implemented? We also spoke about the importance of business models and how do you bring it down to the minimum viable product and service that you want to cater to the audience and litmus test if it is working, if people are paying up, and if they're interested in having more of it. So that was our next discussion, and we spoke about how people build your business, how people make your business. That if there aren't enough people who actually drive your business model, your business plan in the manner that you have imagined it, you might need to reimagine, either place-wise or people maturity-wise. But ultimately, a business is as good as the people who are building it together, whether it's a co-founder or it is your team in the initial hires that you're taking. So HR is often, or human resource or human potential is often a department that is ignored in a startup, but will be very important for it to thrive. So if you're planning to build a company that thrives in long run, you might want to pay attention to this. In between, we also spoke about the co-founders agreement again, which we had spoken a long time ago, that it is important that with your co-founder, and in fact with your initial team, you might want to keep things as clear as possible and as documented as possible, because when the going gets tough, that is when you want things to be sorted and not different ambiguities amongst or within the team arising and causing problems. Today, we're going to speak about the other part of people make your business. It's the people who consume, who become the image of what your business is. It is how they perceive and how you are able to ensure that your vision gets translated into what they perceive, that the next level of your business thriving and your product and service really making the difference that you had set out to by identifying the gap and being so passionate about bringing everything together to make it work matters. So we are now at a stage where we are looking for who are your first few customers. Yes, you have run your MVP, you have understood who it is working with. You have tried to scale it up in an iterative manner by piloting it again and again, and you are at some stage between a scale up and a startup. So you have started up, you have found your tune to it, but who is it exactly who's more interested in your product? Is your initial identification of the total addressable market, or TAM as we know it, still true? And what is the initial market that you have started with? What is the size of it? Is it actually as big as you had thought, or do you need to reevaluate? This is the stage where your idea is validated, but you are validating if you have identified the right customers. For instance, I would say in my case, when I was starting my consulting and coaching, I realized, or I had thought, that with 15 plus years of experience in corporates, it is more of the mid-career professionals who will find me really relevant and will be interested in what I offer to them. They have both the money, the time, and the frustration of feeling sidelined or of not growing enough in their career to actually come to me. And because I have so much of experience in working in corporates, they'll find me relevant and will look for my services. Turned out there were more startups who were interested in me. Turned out what I thought was corporate experience was something that was invaluable to a founder. And I found that while there is certain degree of traction in the mid-career professionals, there is a lot of traction amongst these startups of the world. And the specificities of the experiences that I've developed in my career, where I've done a lot of work from 0 to 1, is extremely invaluable for a founder in seeing how to align things together and what to seek for, what is the missing element. Because I was in a more holistic or wholesome ecosystem trying to build things from 0 to 1. I knew what are the elements that need to be made available. But sometimes the founder doesn't have the luxury of it. That was a segment that got discovered on its own for me. What are the segments that are showing up for you? Are you truly paying attention to identify your true beneficiaries? What value creation is central for them? For instance, the kind of value that I create for a mid-career professional, even the ones who are consulting with me right now, some of you might be watching the video, is not the kind of value that I try to create for a founder. A founder is on a little different journey. They are already owning up a lot of elements of their business, and they need to approach things in a certain different way than how a mid-career professional needs to. Am I creating the right kind of value? And am I getting compensated in the right way? What are the sources of compensation that I can have? Am I really tapping into that? And what is this loyalty of the customers whom you have on board initially? For instance, are the founders whom I have worked with, do I share a bond with them beyond business, beyond transaction, beyond just a consulting? Will they stay along with me longer? Do they feel good when they see me? Now we are talking of a service here. Let's take a business, for instance. Let's take beverages. So, for instance, would you stay true to Tropicana as a brand? Would you want to have only the real coconut juice? I mean, the real brand's coconut juice, packed coconut juice? Or would you be okay having it from Paperboat also, or maybe from some other vendor also? Do you have loyalty to the brand? Or does your brand invoke a loyalty? Or is it that you're one of the service providers and they're as good as being with you as being with someone else, as good as buying your product as buying it from someone else? At this stage, once you identify or re-identify your customer segment, what you're looking forward to do is not just build the product, but start bringing the element of brand into your product in a way that it aligns with your target customer segment. Maybe a little evolved target customer segment. I still target, for instance, in my work, I still target the mid-career professionals, but I know that I am relevant in many of my services for startups also, because of which you see me running the startup theme as well. It's a very conscious decision to run a startup theme series over a 1.5 month period. That's my way of building my brand for a target segment that got identified on my journey of building my own consulting business. What is that product or service that you're offering? Build not just the product or the service, but the brand around it. What do you want to stand for? What does it mean? What's your tagline for it? Like mine is Unplug the Genius. Of course, you know that. Know your segment. What are their likes, dislikes? How do they behave? How do they spend their day? A Gen Z doesn't spend the day the same way as a Gen X or a Gen Alpha or a Gen Y for that matter, or what we know as millennials. How, or is this the only compartmentalization? Maybe a Gen Z in a tier 3 city doesn't spend the time the same way as a Gen Z in a tier 1 city. Who is your target segment? Where do they live? Do my mid-career professionals, are most of them digital nomads, or are most of them into manufacturing and they need to report into factory every next day? The startups that I'm working with, are they deep tech and high tech startups, or are they startups who are working in impact sector? What are the ways that you want to segment, resegment, and even bring together different segments? Knowing this will give you the power of building your brand right. Know your customers and ensure that you are customizing your product, service, and starting to give attention to what is that brand building. Next time, we will talk further about the brand building aspect and see how we can take it ahead from there. Do not forget to join me on the live video this Friday, where we discuss this particular topic of identifying your evolving customer segment and understand how do you tap into it, how do you look into those patterns that are showing up, but it's not usual for you as a founder to look at them. As I said, you founders are the segment that I found for myself. It just happened to me. I'm so glad it happened to me. Do not forget to be grateful on this wonderful journey that you're on. Everyone doesn't get to change the world. You have your chance at it. I'll see you on the other side. Bye.